All right, welcome back. This is going to be part two. Didn't know we were going to have a part one, part two, but that's kind of how it worked out. Jumped off yesterday to do barbecuing with GWT 333. Had a good time, great afternoon, just chilled out. So we're going to go and finish this project now. We've already done in part one, we did teardown, foam repair, and we did skinning the seat. So now we're going to do the recovery aspect of it. So steam's up. You can use a heat gun. If you have a steamer, great. If not, heat gun works fine. Pretty much heat gun like this. If you don't have that, you can always use a hair dryer. They all work. So I just prefer the steam because the moisture helps the vinyl. And I have it available, so I want to use it. So sitting long ways, that's why I flipped it up yesterday. Part two. Or part one, sorry. After we tack the back, now we want to get it good and warm. And then we're going to pull and tack the front. And then it's just a simple process of heating and stretching and getting everything even all the way around. So as soon as this warms up, we're going to get after it. And again, I've got 1/4-inch staples in right now for the front and the back. I'll swap over to the 1/2-inch staples when we get to the side. You want to let it get good and warm. And if you were using a heat gun, you'd be getting that top surface nice and hot. You don't want to get it so hot that it melts, but you want to get it hot where it's, it's hot to the touch. You don't want to keep your hand on it for a long period of time. It gets pretty warm. We're just about there. Get the front a little more. That steam is absolutely hot. Flip it. Get it flattened to the edge. And you want to get a good pull on it. And then go straight up. And I'll usually go about 8 or 10 inches on a tack. And that's good. Now we'll get our 1/2 inchers because we're going to spin and go sideways. So you get kind of that effect. A little bit of it's nice and taut. It'll still look wrinkled at this point, not a big deal. We'll get this side steamed up. You're going to hear the compressor. I got it outside, but you'll still hear it. That's what runs my staple gun. You can get electric ones, Home Depot, Lowe's, any of those stores. A hand one you can use. I mean, they'll work, but they're not nearly as good. But you can make a hand staple gun work. Just takes a little longer. These are just semi-automatic. Boom, boom, boom. You can roll with them. This is a pretty critical pull right here. This one and this one right in these angles, these front angles, and then you'll have another one back here on the humps, the rear. After we pull it, you'll see the contours. So what I'll do is I'll tack these two, and then we'll have to get back to our short staples, get rear corners, front corners, and then we'll come in and hit this rear contour last and the sides. On these triple contour seats, that seems to be the best way to do it. These are really big Polarises. If you don't have that big contour, normally what I do is I'll tack side, work down the side, and I'll do the four corners last. But on these guys, it tends to work better to have the corners done first after you tack this part. And you really got to get a good yank up. I'm going to go up and forward. And then up and in. Make sure you're feeling it. You've got plenty. You can always go bring it up to you. Okay, so you're going to start seeing the contour starting. Like I said, right now I'm just tacking, but you can start to see there's the contour. Completely goes in and back. You'll still see a few little wrinkles. We'll get those out. So we'll get this other side, same concept. And when we come in here, this should all be gone. So all this flow will go away. It's called heat forming. And the reason we do these quads like this, and you could do them at home, and the reason I'm showing you, is because this is completely waterproof. You don't have anywhere on the seat when it's done that isn't waterproof. Since they're outdoor, vehicles, ATVs, you want them waterproof. You don't want a bunch of seams in them. And then some people like that, different colors and whatnot, but there's always seams, and that's a place where water can get in. Water seeps in, it gets into the foam. You sit down with your butt and you get soaked because it comes right back out. And it just turns the foam into a giant sponge. Wears the foam out too. So that's why this is the best way to go with a quad seat. Four-wheeler, quad, whatever. Depending upon what area you're in. I'm sure there's different names for them all over the world, but here we call them quad seats. All right. Let's get this other side contoured. Try and give you kind of an idea here. You want to get forward and up and get as good a stretch as you can get. You tack that corner up. Okay. And then you'll work back through this contour up and in. You can use that bar as a holder. Just remember, when you go to staple, let it release back to you. Otherwise, you'll just blow through the vinyl. And then we'll get this contour here. And that's another spot you really want to yank. So those are tacked. Let's check our contour. Looking good. So we definitely have a little more we got to get out. So we're going to pull fronts right now. So we'll get those heated up. You just peel back your corner. Or if you got a heat gun, you'll hit it from the outside with a steamer. You're going to peel it back. Get up into the vinyl, between the vinyl and foam. Pull it back over and around. Let it heat up. But you already kind of can start to see it's taking shape. And the other thing we didn't do, now we're going back to the front, we got to swap staples out. All right, that's ready. At this time, we're going to go down the side and around and meet the front up here. So this whole side and front will be done. So everything will be connected about to here on the side. And then we have a few tack spots. Because sometimes we have to come back in and we'll have to pull a little more to get some of this out. But we'll know that after we get done with this front, both sides. So on this spot, we're going to be pulling forward. We're going to get a good forward pull and a wrap. Grab it with your other hand, pull it back. And then we got to go down. Okay. We're going to work around our front from our corner. And I know you can't see it right now, but again, I'll show it to you. Okay, we're all the way around there. Now we want to come meet back up here, and you'll see there's still some wrinkles here. Good pull. Down and around. All right. So I'll trim a little bit of this off. And this will still be usable. I got a pile up here that I keep. So when you're doing tractor seats or stuff like that, you need small panels for boxing or wing panels, whatever. Then it's always good to have those spare little pieces, scrap. But you can see we've gone all the way around the corner to the front. Now we're going to work on the side over here that's not connected. So if we're looking at the contour on this side, it looks real good. And hopefully we'll get this pull out on this next run, and there'll be no slack here. That's the goal. And I'm going a little slower so I can explain everything. It makes it a little easier for everybody else, for you guys to do this. You can always watch the video back up, do it in stages. Watch the video while you're recovering it, your seat. Just kind of a good guide for you guys to know what to do and how to do it. It's not rocket science, but it does definitely take some doing and some knowledge base. And if you know the proper way to do it, there's no reason why you can't. Get this side good and warm. All right. Now we're going to work on that corner. And again, maybe you'll get a better view of it this time, but when I pull it to staple it, it'll probably go out of your view. You want to pull up, forward, and wrap back around to get that corner edge. Then you're going to tack that corner. Okay. Then you work back down to the bottom. And with these quarter inch, you're going to find sometimes they pop. Way down here, I got one here popped. No big deal. We'll replace it out. All right. There's that. So let's trim this. Oh, we got to come back up top here on the face before it cools down. Yep, out of bullets. All right, there we go. There's the front. And you can just come back in and trim it off. There's my piece. Reusable goods. Excess. And a lot of times down here in the front, you're going to want to use a knife. Just because the angles you can't get close enough. So, let's get your razor. Stay behind your staples. Trim it around. No big deal. In fact, I'll go all the way from here. Just let your knife work. If you're cutting, it'll cut right behind them. And you can just literally straight edge right to your other cut. And done. So that's pretty handy. All right, let's check our contour. Oh yeah, looking good. Beautiful. All right, we're doing the rear corners now. Back of the seat, here and here. And what that's going to do is going to pull the rest of the seat back this way, and that'll just leave us our sides to finish up. Good dose of heat again. Bring your cover back around. Let it sit and grab your iced tea. It's always good to have iced tea. Just made a fresh gallon. Go through about a gallon a day between my wife, I, and our 2 kids. A lot healthier than soda, no sugar in it. Just straight up iced tea. All right, we're just about ready. Get this hot guy out. I'm going to get this last corner on this side. This corner is a pull straight at the corner. Okay? So you want to grab, pull straight at the corner, out and back, and around. And again, then I'll tack it with one. I'm in the back here, so I have to have the shorter staples just to get around the corner. And if you got to do 2 at a spot to anchor, not a big deal. That's just fine. Like 1 right after the other. This gives it 2 contact points, so like that. And now you work back to the center, pulling as you go. Alright. Now we'll be over here on the side, and that'll all be long staples. Okay, so we'll get kind of an idea. There's your back corner. It's nice and smooth. I'm going to go hit your other one. And you get it around the corner. Look, it's already pulling those out down the side. You can't see those wrinkles up here hardly at all anymore. Still see them here on this side. You see those wrinkles? Yep. So we're going to hit this corner now. Get it nice and warm. Pull over, let the heat do its thing, and drink some tea. All right. Can't tell you how many times I've burned myself using that steamer. She gets hot. She gets hot, boys. Straight out at the corner again. You get a full pull on the back. Double anchor. And now we'll work around the corner. All right, so that's the back. You can see it all stapled flush, and then looking for both edge, nice and clean, nice and clean. So we'll start working right here on these humps. This is our next spot, and then we'll fill in the rest of the sides, because we definitely need heat right here. And we're getting tight, so there's only couple spots to be able to put it in yet. So I'm going to want to try and get this whole back corner from here to here done in this next pull. Then I'll go back and do this other side.